Hello, all of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Welcome to this, your mid to late April reading and predictions. This is a general reading for anybody born under the sign of Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, as well as anyone who has a significant amount of either of these three signs in their charts. Before we get started, a couple of little things. First of all, you're going to notice some changes behind me in my next video. Also, you'll notice that I've gone back to the format of only recording 4 videos for the mid to late April readings. The reason for this is that I've had a significant amount of upheaval in my personal life. I will be moving within a week. And so things in my own life will be a little bit up in the air for the next month as I move and get settled and so on. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to do 12 full videos for mid-April. I am hoping to revert back to the 12 full videos come mid-May, but for the mid to late April videos and predictions, and for the early May, I'm going to have to just do 4 videos, get them uploaded. Rest assured, your readings will still be accurate. They're still actually almost the same and still take almost the same length of time. But the difference is the uploading time that it takes me to get them onto the platforms and get them out to you. Okay. For those of you who are returning, thank you very much for your continued support. And for those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome. Just a couple of quick things. I work with a number of different oracle card decks as well as tarot decks. And I find that this, instead of using just a single deck, gives a more well-rounded reading. As I'm pulling cards, I do leave them all face down until I'm actually ready to read them. And the reason that I do this is because it allows the psychic and intuition to come in a more organic way rather than me seeing a card already turned over. And then there's kind of this projection that comes in. And I find that it's a little bit less organic that way. Was there anything else before we dive into the Aries readings? I think so. I don't think so. Oh, there is one more thing. All right. For each of you fire signs, I highly encourage you to actually watch all of the fire signs, because what I find is that when I do these readings where I divide the 12 zodiac signs by their elements that they are represented by, I find that there are often really common themes that come up for you guys. So just as an example, when I did the earth signs, which would be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, at least 2 of those signs had the Lovers card come out, not once, but twice in each of their readings. What are the chances? And incidentally, while I'm on the topic of the Lovers card, the Lovers card has come out for a significant number of people in both personal readings as well as the zodiac readings. So perhaps, spring is in the air. It's the new year, because this is, Aries, the season of Aries. So happy birthday, Aries. But you never know. All right. Without any further ado, Aries, let's tap into your energies. All of the cards have been previously cleansed and cleared. Aries, the first cards that we're going to pull for you is, where are you at now? Well, I'm recording this video in the middle of April. Aries. Cards, please tell me, where are the Aries at right now? Okay, we do have 2 cards that have come out. Is that one? Nope, that one didn't flip. Okay. All right, Aries. The next card that we're going to pull for you, Aries, is cards of your focus. What are you focusing on for mid to late April? Whoa, see that one jump? Great. What are the Aries focusing on? Oh, that one's on the floor. Aries focus, mid to late April. We have 4 cards out already. Okay. Let me just bend down here and get your card. Oh, and that one actually turned up. I can tell you that you are not the first sign to have this card pop out, especially in the focus area. We will get to actually reading that card for you in just a moment. The next cards that we're going to pull are your difficult influences, Aries. Where are we going for difficult influences? Going over here. Difficult influences for the Aries. Let's hope there's not too many for the Aries, seeing as it's their birthday for many of them. All right, difficult influences for Aries, mid to late April. No, all right. We'll go through the deck one more time. If we don't have anything pop out, we'll try a different deck. Aries, mid to late April, difficult influences. Ah, there we go. Is there anything else for Aries in this area? Yep, there was another one. Is there anything else? One more. All right. All right, so that was the first card. This is the second card. All right. Okay, you do have quite a number of you've got 2 cards that flipped out by themselves, and now you've got 4 more cards here. Let's just quickly shuffle these cards for you, Aries, and see if there's just one that wants to come out. Is there one more card for Aries for difficult influences? Or are we going to be doing all 4 of these cards, which I don't want to do? Yeah, it's that one. There's one card there that just kept sticking and sticking and sticking. It did not want to go into the deck. So, okay. Aries, the next card that we're going to pull for you is a card that just makes sense. Now, this card has a tendency to either be the same and have similar meaning to some of the cards that have already come out, or it has the ability, if your reading is kind of going in this way, in this way, in this way, and it's not making sense, then the This Makes Sense card begins to tie everything together. It's usually a card that has a rather obvious meaning in relation to the other cards that we've already pulled. We're going over here. It's just a question of which deck. I've got several decks lined up over here as well because my work surface is very small. Okay, Aries. This makes sense. Mid to late April. What makes sense? Oh, no. Okay, let's try again. This makes sense for Aries. No. Right. Have your chance. Let's go over here to this deck then. What makes sense? Ah. Is there anything else that makes sense for the Aries mid to late April? Anything else? Yep, a couple more. Oh, okay. All right. The next cards that we're going to pull for you, Aries, are cards of your unexpected influences, unexpected insights. Where are we going? Here to the fairies. Oh, unexpected. Unexpected. Anything else? Anything else unexpected for the Aries for the designated time frame? Yep. Nope. Second, that's going to come out. All right. Let me just collect these up in the order in which they came out. The final cards that we're going to pull for you, Aries, are going to be cards of your general overall outcome. These cards are pulled with the intention of them projecting or predicting the energies and what will be influencing you, where you will be at the end of April 2023. General overall outcome for Aries. No, we're going to do this again, are we? Okay. Aries, what's coming up for me, just based on the way that the cards are coming out, is that there may be a lack of direction on your part right now. You may be kind of floundering. It's not uncommon, given that we have just moved Pluto into Aquarius. That is always a shift for many of us. And Mercury is going to be going retrograde. We're facing down a full moon in 2 more days. No, the full moon is a little bit further out, sorry. But there's significant energies going on here right now, Aries. And I mean, I have not even turned a card over for you yet. And the fact that the cards, I'm having to shuffle through them, they're not jumping out. It's an indication that you're kind of lacking some direction right now. We'll see whether that pans out and plays out with the cards that have actually come out. But all right, general overall outcome. Okay, there's one. Okay, so we just have one card that's come out for your general overall outcome. We may have to pull a clarifier for that one. We'll see. Okay. Where are you at right now, Aries? You've got the 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Rainbows, 4 of Earth. This is the card of the Miser. This is a card of make sure you are not spending more than what you have coming in. This is a card of making sure that you have a balanced budget. This can also be a card of holding on to the past. If you look at the character on this card, the character on the card is dressed up in what was once her Sunday best. You know, she's got the fur here and the feathers, and she's got on all of her jewels. And yet there are signs of wear and tear on everything, meaning she needs to let it go. She needs to let go of the past. She's holding on to the past. Okay. So Aries, this is one of the 2 cards that came out for where you're at now. 4 of Pentacles, the Miser, making sure you have a balanced budget, as well as beginning to let go of the past, particularly when it comes to money and finances. The other card that you have right now is the 6 of Cups, or the 6 of Water. Now, normally this card would be interpreted as a dream come true. However, reading it next to the 4 of Pentacles here, this is a card that tells me that you are living in the dream world, particularly when it comes to money and finances. You're not living in reality. You're not facing facts when it comes to your budget. This card is telling me that you being the dream, that you're being a dreamer, and you're not being realistic. So it's time to come back to earth. Pentacles represents earth, and really come into alignment when it comes to your finances. Okay. For some of you, yes, perhaps you are dreaming and towards a new manifestation, but for most of you, what I'm picking up is this dream card isn't about this romantic dream as is represented by the picture on the card. Intuitively, psychically, what's coming into me is that some of you are dreaming when it comes to your money right now, and you need to be more realistic. Right. Okay. So focus. What are you focusing on right now, Aries, in the middle of April? And what is your intention or focus for mid-April through to the end of April? One of your focuses is watching the clouds. Lie back, rest, relax. This is a time for retreat for you, but not for the whole period of time. because you have two other cards. Sorry, you've one other card with a similar meaning here and two other cards with meaning of action. And so given that the last half of April is divided into, sort of a week and a little bit and a week and a little bit, I'm going to go out and say the first week and a little bit of April 15th through to 20th, 21st, you're going to want to lie back, watch the clouds, rest, relax. During that time, you will be finding your sanctuary and opening up to a spiritual source. Like I said to you, before I even turned any cards over, I sensed that at least a portion of this reading was going to be directing you, Aries, to finding a new direction. I really felt that the way that the cards were coming out, that there was a lack of direction happening on your part. And this really confirms it. When you are being guided by the cards to rest, lie back, relax, and find your sanctuary, the finding your sanctuary is opening to a spiritual source. It's about reconnecting with your purpose and what you are meant to be doing. The second two cards that you have in your focus, which go towards the last half or the latter half of the time period for this reading. So from the 20th or 21st of April into the 30th of April, you have Ascending the Mountain, which is a card of begin to take action, keep going forward. And you have the card of choosing your path. Like I said, Aries, this reading, at least in part, is about you finding your new path. Okay, I'm really feeling that you've been lost, lacking direction, questioning your purpose, questioning your jobs is what's coming up. And for some of you, even questioning your relationships, your committed relationships. And so this card is saying, choose your path and then stick with it. Okay, keep going forward. Difficult influences. Your difficult influences literally have almost the exact same meaning as the cards that you had come up for what you're focusing on. So what you're focusing on, you were told, find your sanctuary, find that connection to your intuition and your source, open your spiritual source. And you have the Moon card coming up in your difficult influences. And this card is the card of take note of intuitive messages. So what this is telling me is there is a little bit of a conflict between these two things for you right now, Aries. You are focusing on trying to find it, and yet you're not actually taking note of the messages when they're coming in. Okay? Spirit's sending you messages left, right, and center. And you're going, oh, that was weird. And you move on. Okay? That's what this card is meaning in your difficult influences. You have this card, trust in the unknown. Well, if you're in the process of choosing your path, it's a little bit unknown right now. Okay? Difficult place to be. And the last card that you have is intend and create, the High Priest. If this is coming up in your difficult influences, it means that as you're watching the clouds, as you're finding your sanctuary, you're experiencing a little bit of difficulty with actually intending and creating your future, right? You're feeling a little bit lost, just like I said, right from the beginning before I turned over the first card. There's a whole lot of unknowns here for you right now, Aries. What makes sense? Okay, you've got the Seven of Cups in reverse. You're confused because too much is going on. You need peace and quiet in order to sort it out. Does that card not make sense and begin to tie all of the rest of this together? I'd say it does. Definitely. What else makes sense for you? You have the Four of Pentacles. Oh, wait a minute. Remember what I said when I pulled the cards that just make sense? They confirm things by coming up with the double cards, double meanings, or they have a meaning that ties everything together. So this Seven of Cups in reverse is indicating you've got too much going on. You're scattered. The cards didn't even want to come out and talk to you because you're not paying attention. That is this card here, this Seven of Cups in reverse. You have the Four of Pentacles. What was the very first card we read for you, Aries? It was the Four of Pentacles, this miser, this I'm not budgeting properly. I'm not paying attention to my money in the way that I should be. And now you have a double confirmation of that by having the Four of Pentacles come up a second time in your reading. In This Makes Sense. I mean, you're hanging on to possessions. You're hanging on to money that no longer serves you. And that's blocking you from creating more abundance. Well, at the same time, right? If the miser is holding on to all of these past jewels and this fur that's all threadbare, and, you know, she's hanging on to the past, well, at the same time, she's not budgeting. And that's the exact meaning again. Reinforcement of this for you, Aries, ×2. The final card you have in This Makes Sense is the Empress card. This is part of the major arcana. And this is a card wherein she has the capacity to bring things back together and bring things back into focus. So Aries, what I want to say is that from all of this confusion, from 2 4 of Pentacles, meaning budget and let go of the past, let go of old possessions that no longer serve you, let go of old energies that no longer serve you, to the point of, you know, kind of lacking this direction and needing to really knuckle down and choose your path. The Empress coming in is saying you have the capacity and the ability within yourself to be able to do this. Okay. The Empress is almost always a sign of good things that are coming. Okay. Let's have a look. We've got quite a number of cards here for your unexpected insights and influences. You've got a couple more Pentacles coming up. You've got the 8 of Pentacles coming up. This is a card of, again, relates to money, being Pentacles, can relate to job or career, Aries, and it's telling you make sure that you're doing your research before you jump. You have the 2 of Pentacles coming in. 2 of Pentacles, what is the meaning of this? You are juggling too many things. It's a duality. Whenever a 2 shows up in the tarot readings, it represents a duality, that you've got more than one thing going on and you're being pulled in different directions. In all honesty, these 2 cards coming up in your unexpected influences and insights, they're not that unexpected. When we put these in relation to the other cards that I've already read for you, Aries, it's not that unexpected that you would have a 2, particularly when it comes to money, the 2 of Pentacles coming in. And it's also not unexpected that you've got a card coming in asking you to do your research. You've got the 10 of Swords coming in your unexpected influences and insights. The 10 of Swords is about ending a codependency, ending something that you have kind of been using as a crutch. It's time to let that go. And when you do, justice will be served. Justice is your next card. Okay. It means that there's going to be balance brought back in. And the final card that you have here is the 8 of Summer, also known as the 8 of Cups. And this is a card of realizing that it's time to move on. Interestingly, you have the 8 twice. So watch for 8s popping up in what you have going on. Aries, watch for the 8s. You may see 88 or 888 or 8,888 coming up in the very near future. And the reason that those are coming up is because you have the double eights here reminding you, make sure you're doing your research, take a seminar, maybe figure things out, especially when it comes to money, and let go of the past. This theme of realizing that it's time to move on, realizing that it's time to move on, realizing that it's time to move on, balance your budget, let go of the past. This is just reinforcement of that again and again. So if you do see 88, 888, 8888, if you do see those coming up, it's the universe reminding you and calling you back to this reading during the last half of April and reminding you of the work that you are intended to be doing right now. General overall outcome, as I mentioned, there was only one card that came out. Oh, are you kidding me? You have another 8. You have the 8 of Swords coming up. This card corresponds to guilt. Why does it correspond to guilt? Because it corresponds to letting go of the past, not holding on to things that somebody said or things that somebody blamed you for. I am getting called to pull another card as a clarifier to this guilt card. Let's clarify the guilt card for the Aries for their general overall outcome. What else does Aries need to know? I'm going to grab that before it falls on. No, I'm not going to grab it before it falls on the floor. Okay. Oh, you have the Justice card coming in again. Card urges you to seek guidance from your inner self. Karma, seek guidance from your inner self. Don't rely solely upon people from the earthly plane to be giving you advice. You have the Justice card twice. The Justice card is about reviewing things before you make decisions, Aries. Okay, go within, make decisions from your own space, particularly headed into the end of April. But I think that what's coming up for me intuitively right now, Aries, for your overall reading is, and it's because this card slipped from where it was sitting after all the rest of the cards are laid out, and it slipped and it sat on top of everything again. And choosing your path. Okay. When you choose your path, a lot of this other stuff is going to fall into alignment and it's just going to make sense. Okay, your budget's going to fall into alignment with those 2 4 of Pentacles coming up. You've got the 8 of Pentacles coming up here. You've got all of these 8s coming up, indicating, asking for advice while at the same time letting go. It's time to move on. The guilt card is about moving on. So Aries, you've got a little bit of work to do here, mid to late April. If you want to get these 4s and these 8s brushed off to the side, do your own inner work, find your path, find your direction. And a lot of this is going to resonate for many of you because you're just feeling a little bit lost. All right. Thank you very much, Aries. I hope that you will join me again at the beginning of May for your next reading. Okay, Leo, I have just finished putting all of the cards away from the Aries reading, and let's get started with yours. Just going to finish cleansing and clearing the decks. Okay. Leo, the very first card that we are going to pull is going to be a card of where you are at now. As I sit here in mid-April and do your reading, where are you at now? Okay. All right. Leo, where are the Leos at now? Mid-April. Oh, wow. Okay. That was practically half the deck that jumped out. Holy smokes. How many cards? Well, all right. We've got 4 cards here, so we will have a look at those 4 cards for you, Leo. Okay, Leo, the next card that we are going to pull is a card of focus. What are you currently focusing on going into mid to late April? Leo, what are the Leos focusing on? Well, we might be going through this deck a second time. Looks that way. All right. What are the Leos focusing on? One. Another one. Oops. All right, Leo. Oh, it's been down here. Okay. Next card that we're going to pull for you, Leo, is difficult influences. Difficult influences for the Leos. Mid to late April. Difficult influences. And last month I had sometimes 20 cards come out, and this month the cards are being rather quiet. Okay. The next card that we're going to pull for you, Leo, is a card that just makes sense. And generally what happens is this card tends to pull all of the other cards together. Sometimes it can be a card with an identical meaning to one of the other cards that's previously come out, or that is yet to be read in your reading. So let's have a look at this makes sense. Where are we going? I'm going to go over here, but I think I might be pulling a clarifier from there as well. Okay, this makes sense for the Leos. Uh-oh. We have more cards on the floor. Is there anything else that just makes sense? Almost had another one there. Is it going to come out? I don't think so. Okay. Maybe we won't pull a clarifier right now, but we'll wait and see what those cards are once I actually turn them over to read for you, Leo. All right, the next cards that we're going to pull are going to be the cards of your unexpected insights and influences. Unexpected insights and influences for Leo. Late April. Unexpected. Okay, we do have 2 cards that have come out here for you, Leo. And the final cards that we're going to pull for you, Leo, are the general overall outcome cards. These cards are the projection or prediction as to where you are anticipated to be come the end of the month. Okay. All right. Card actually going to fall out eventually? I think it's going to. Overall outcome for Leo. There's another one. Yep, another one. And for more. Okay. So this card that's turned sideways, I am just going to pull it out and put it on top. We'll see whether it's actually needed or not once we get into your reading. Sometimes those sneaky ones want to be read, and other times not so much. Okay. Where are you at now? Okay, Leo. These two cards, Ascending the Mountain and Wandering the Path, or the Wandering Path. I would encourage you to go and have a quick peek over at the Aries reading, because they had cards similar to this coming up. Anyway, Ascending the Mountain. Where you're at now, Leo, is ascending the mountain. Just keep going forward. Sometimes it can feel like you're just slogging your way through every day, and that's kind of where you're feeling right now. That's because you're on a wandering path. And the best advice you can have when you're slogging things away or where you're on a wandering path is just enjoy the journey, right? If you're constantly thinking, oh, the next step, oh, the next step, oh, the next step, then what happens is that becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. And so every step becomes work rather than enjoying the journey, looking around, and all of a sudden you're going to reach your destination. You also have Voyage of the Heart. Love flows through you and to you. As previously mentioned, quite a number of the zodiac signs this month, as well as in personal readings. The Lovers card has been coming out. Now, for this particular deck, it's not a tarot deck, it's an oracle card deck, but it does have cards with similar meanings or that are in alignment with the tarot. And this card, Voyage of the Heart, is the card that aligns with the Lovers. So, Leo, you've got love coming up right now. For some of you, this is about new love coming in. In fact, I want to say that for a number of you, yeah, I'm picking up that for quite a number of you, there is a desire. If you're in a committed relationship, there's a desire to change or shift the dynamics in your relationship so that it's improved, so that there's more love, more involvement, more mutual respect, and so on. And for those of you who are single and seeking, this is a card that indicates that the seeking that you have been doing as you have been wandering on the path is most likely to manifest. But you've also got another card here of stepping into your own power and recognizing your own strengths, that you're more powerful than you know. This card coming up next to Voyage of the Heart, what's coming up for me, Leo, is that for some of you, you have played it safe in the past. For some of you, you have played a submissive role in your relationships, and that's not who you are. You're Leo the Lion. And so this card is asking you to step into your power. What else am I picking up for stepping into your power right now, going into mid to late April? For some of you, this stepping into your power card is about your job. For some of you, I get the sense that some of you have been feeling like you're being taken advantage of. And this is about stepping into your power. You're strong beyond measure. It's about making clear, concise choices so that you can manifest the outcome that you really want to have. That may be why you feel like you're slogging along and ascending a mountain. What are you focusing on? Oh, yes, focusing. You have the Ace of Cups. going with the flow. Ace of Cups can also represent new love, new beginnings in new relationships. Ace of Cups. You have the Ten of Swords coming up here. This is the card of rebirth. This is a card of you concentrating on changing who you are and who you present out to the world and really getting to know who you are. How are you going to do that? Well, you're also concentrating on turning in and tuning in right now. This is the Four of Cups. And you will notice here that for this character, there are all of these shadowy figures representing other humans yattering away, giving advice. And instead, this character in the middle is you, Leo, and you are tapping into your higher source. And the answers are coming from here. The answers are coming from within you. That's really important, because if you are having a rebirth, if you are concentrating on reinventing yourself, you really, really need to know who you are. And this is all about new beginnings. The very first card is the Ace of Cups. That's about new beginnings. Can represent new romantic relationships, but in general, new beginnings. And what do we need to do for new beginnings? We need to tap into our own higher self. We need to go with the flow, and then we can be reborn. Leo. In your difficult influences, you have a card that has the number 15 on it. For those of you who are familiar with the traditional tarot, this is the Devil card. What does the Devil bring up for us? Well, it brings up our ego. It brings up us holding on to the past and that which no longer serves our highest good. And what the Devil asks us to do is question everything and question why we do things the way we do them. So Leo, this coming up in your difficult influences is telling me that you're placing a lot of importance on material items right now. You are making decisions right now based on these voices, not this one. Okay. This is what the Devil causes us to do. The Devil causes us and wants us to listen to that which is external to ourselves. The Devil doesn't like it when we go within and when we tap into the divine and when we tap into our own heart center. This guy doesn't like it. The ego, your ego, doesn't like it. Why? Because it threatens their control. Okay. So this is something that you're going to be bumping into here mid to late April, Leo. But you have the ability to overcome this. Okay. Let's have a look at what you have coming up in your This Makes Sense. Okay, you've got the Page of Pentacles coming up. Someone who is currently experiencing a lack of motivation. That can come from feeling like you're trapped and feeling like you've got too much work to do. You've got, and again, this is reversed. You've got the Queen of Swords reversed. This is a question of when the Queen of Swords shows up in reverse, it's something where we've experienced a loss and we're not handling it well. When we're focusing on rebirth and changing ourselves, changing our inner being and the outer mask that we wear to the, to the rest of the people around us, we can go through a period of mourning where there's a part of us that wants to tap back in to the way things used to be. And Leo, I think that that's probably why this Queen of Swords came up for you, is that it's showing that there is going to be this temptation to self-wallow at some point here between the middle of April and the end of April, because there's a craving to go back to the way things were. But on the positive side, the card right next to the reversed Queen of Swords is the King of Swords. And the King of Swords came out upright. And the King of Swords is all about being fair, being professional, but it's also about you setting boundaries, being really clear in what it is you want and where you want to go. The only way that you're going to obtain that is these two cards, Leo. Tune in and go with the flow. New beginnings. Stop listening to the chatter. Stop listening to the ego and the devil. You've got this, Leo. All right. Unexpected. Take time to reflect. Oh, that's not really unexpected, considering all of the other cards that we've already read. It's not unexpected that you are going to have the time. And if you don't think you have the time, make the time to reflect. This card and this card go hand in hand. This is part of what you are meant to be focusing on. This is part of your unexpected insights, that you're going to be given the opportunity to do the work. Medicine Guardian is coming up for you in unexpected insights and influences. This card coming up in this area of your reading is telling me, pay attention to your health at this time as you're going through a change and a rebirth, as you're going through the death of your ego. It can affect your health, both your mental and psychological health, as well as your physical health. Most people don't realize that if you are feeling down in the dumps, it can also affect your own physiology. So be paying attention to your health here in the last half of April. That's not to say that you're going to get sick by any stretch of the imagination. That is not what this card is implying at all. Let me be very clear. What it is telling you is be open to healing information, okay? And just look after yourself. Find time for self-care. Oh, wait, what does self-care look like? Oh, right. It looks like tuning in and taking time to reflect. Makes sense, right? Okay. General overall outcome cards here. You have a card in reverse. We will read it in the reverse. You have the Four of Summer coming up, also known as the Four of Cups. Double confirmation for you. This is what you are meant to be focusing on. And now at the end of April, remember what I said, the last cards that I'm pulling are predicted and projected to be where you're at the end of April. You're where you're at in the middle of April still with this Four of Cups. Four of Summer is the equivalent to the Four of Cups. This is the Four of Cups here, this tuning in. This is telling me that you are still at that point where you're listening to the voices outside of yourself, okay? If you look at this card closely, the fairy here is staring off into space. La, 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 la. And what's down here? A little cherub offering her gifts. And she doesn't even notice. Why? She's not paying attention. She's not tuned in, okay? So Leo, you've got a little bit of work to do if you want to change the outcome. Now, For those of you who are new here, you might want to go back and check out my video for the first part of April for the Leos. The reason being is that I go into detail about why sometimes tarot and psychic outcomes don't come to fruition, as well as the timing and why the timing is affected for tarot and psychic readings. And I think that that's really, really important right now, given that you have a card here with, showing that you have the potential right now, Leo, to be in the same place at the end of the month for where you were at the middle of the month. You have the Princess of Winter coming in. And again, the Princess of Winter is also known as the Page of Swords. And this is a card of information coming into you that you require, but you may not want it. What happens when we don't necessarily want the information? We stare off into space and we ignore it. How do we overcome all of this, Leo? We take a break from society. We go into hermit mode. Okay. Leo, this is the second last card for your reading. And this card is saying, if you want to achieve the success that you are working towards manifesting, if you want to experience this rebirth that's coming up, you're going to have to do the work. It is not just going to appear and be there for you. You need to go within, you need to tune in, turn in, and listen to that still small voice. The final card that you have in your reading is the Sun. Now, the Sun is generally considered the happiest card in the entire tarot deck. However, you got it in the reverse. What that's telling me, Leo, is that you still have some more work to do before you can actually achieve this full-on success that you are looking towards manifesting, before you actually experience this rebirth, before you can experience this love relationship that you are attempting to manifest. And I do believe a lot of you are trying to do that at this time, because this card is actually represented by Prince Charming on his white steed. And so this is telling me that you've got work to do. Now, as I mentioned in my video my last video for the early part of April, can you change the outcome? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you need to start making conscious choices in order to change the outcome. And one of those conscious choices must be the Hermit. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you being here. And I hope that you'll join me again at the beginning of May for your next reading. Okay, Sagittarius, we are about ready to start your reading. I have just finished putting all of the cards away from Leo's reading. Really fascinating reading. And yeah, some synchronicities coming up between you fire signs, Aries and Leo. So let's move into your reading, Sagittarius, and see if there are any similarities or synchronicities between your reading and that of Aries and Leo. For those of you who are new here, I work with a number of different tarot decks as well as oracle card decks, and I do leave all of the cards face down until I'm actually ready to read them. Okay, Sagittarius, where are you at now? Where are the Sagittarius at now? Here in the middle of April as I pull these cards. Where are the Sagittarius at? Is there anything else? Almost had another one come out, but it decided to stay in. Okay. All right, Sagittarius, next cards that we're going to pull is what you are focusing on. What are you focusing on? What are the Sagittarians focusing on? Whoops, that one's on the floor. Is there anything else that Sagittarius is focusing on mid to late April? Just the card that went flying on the floor? Yes, so. Oh, nope, there's one more. Okay. That's why we go all the way through the deck. Okay. That one and that one. Next card is a card of difficult influences, Sagittarius. Yeah. Difficult influences for Sagittarius. Mid to late April. Oh, that was a big bunch of cards. Just went by. And we have another card on the floor. Excuse me. Okay. The next card is a card that just makes sense. Now, generally, the just makes sense card is a card that either has the same meaning as cards that have already come out, or it begins to tie everything together. It's like the glue of the reading. So getting called over there. Sagittarius, this makes sense. What makes sense for Sagittarius? Oh, okay. All right, next cards are unexpected insights and influences. What is unexpected for Sagittarius? Oops. Unexpected. Sagittarius, we've got one card out for you, Sagittarius. Let's see if there's anything else. Unexpected. Now, I don't know if you can see, these cards are coming out and they just keep spreading, and my hand is not very big to see if anything else decides to fall out. All right. Yeah. There's a couple more. Okay. That was the first card, and the second and third cards. Okay. The final cards that we're going to pull here for you, Sagittarius, is your general overall outcome for the end of April going into May. These cards predict and project what will be influencing you, the energies where you're going to be at for closer to the end of April. General overall outcome. There's one. Is there anything else that Sagittarius has for their general overall outcome? Anything else? Yep. Anything else? Okay. That was the first card and the second card. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Sagittarius, you have the 3 of Autumn and the 6 of Autumn. Both cards correspond to the Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles and the 6 of Pentacles. I want to point out as well, I don't know why this is coming up. I'm wondering if we're going to get a 9 as well. 369, the Tesla magical numbers, the numbers that a lot of things on Earth correspond to. They are divisible by 3, 6, or 9. Yeah, so just pay attention because we do have the 3 and the 6 coming out. The 3 of Pentacles indicates, Sagittarius, that you are in a place where you are doing good work and it's being noticed. Yeah, good stuff. And you have the 6 of Autumn, 6 Pentacles, and the 6 is again about being fairly compensated for what it is that you do, but also borrowing wisely. It is kind of a card of karma. Okay, but karma in a good way, where you become cognizant that money doesn't grow on trees. And if you're given a credit card, you need to pay the credit card back. If somebody loans you $5, you have to give it back. Karma, what goes around comes around. And so the 6 of Autumn coming out here in where you're at now is a card that is saying, make sure you're clearing up your own debts and clearing up your own messes, because otherwise it's going to come back to haunt you. That's what the 6 of Pentacles is telling you. The 3 of Pentacles is telling you, follow your passion and you will be rewarded. And this specifically relates to job. What are you focusing on? You have the 6 of Wands. You now have 2 6s in your reading, and you also have the Knight of Pentacles. Focusing on the comings and goings in your life, common sense, being dependable. The Knight of Pentacles, again, so you now have 3 Pentacles. You've got 4 cards out in your reading, and 3 out of the 4 cards are from the Pentacles. So right now, Sagittarius, despite the fact that you are a fire sign, there is a whole lot of earth energy in your reading right now, which means that you need to be really well grounded in the decisions that you're making with regards to money and career right now. The Knight of Pentacles, any of the knights in the tarot, they can be impulsive. So the Knight of Pentacles coming in your focus may indicate that you are considering a job shift, but a rather impulsive one. And you probably shouldn't be acting impulsively at this time when it comes to work, job, or career. But this card is indicating that you may very well do just that. You also have the 6 of Wands here. 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands is a card of victory, but victory doesn't come without action. The wands, the suit of wands is represented by the element of fire. Fire means taking action. And so this 6 of Wands, if you look at the picture on this card, hopefully there's not too much of a reflection there, but what this card is actually saying, you've got this gentry walking in, and clearly this is a celebration of some kind, of victory of some kind. But the victory doesn't happen unless you actually go out there into the world, Sagittarius, and participate. Let me see what else is coming in for me here with regards to you are focused right now, Sagittarius. You are focused on achieving success or a victory of some kind. But this Knight of Pentacles has me a little bit concerned that you may be focusing on acting impulsively rather than acting in a good way. Also, the 6 of Wands, like I said, is a card of karma. And so with victory, when there's a victory, there also has to be a loser. And this card, Sagittarius, is telling me that when you are the victor, make sure that you are the victor with what's the word I'm looking for? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of the word that I want to use, but what you want to make sure that you're doing here, Sagittarius, is not rubbing it in anybody's face. That will backfire on you. Difficult influences. All right, Sagittarius. Unleash the wild within. This is something that you're bumping up against right now. This is actually a good card in your difficult influences, because with this Knight of Pentacles here, in your focus, I'm sensing that some of you are experiencing a temptation to act rashly, and that's ill-advised. And then in your difficult influences, you've got unleash the wild within, which is telling me it's reinforcement to not do that, because this is in your difficult influences. So normally in the regular part of a reading, this card would indicate be a little bit more wild, but in difficult influences, it actually has the opposite meaning, and it's being like, tame your wild, tame it down, because it doesn't serve your highest good. And that's what I was picking up. That's why I was really struggling with reading this Knight of Pentacles for you, because I couldn't get over this sense of wanting to act without thinking things through first. And this is your confirmation to really kind of sit back. You also have the protection guardian, drop your shield, Sagittarius. This is an indication that if you're walking around with a bunch of shields up, you're not able to make connections with other people. This is in your difficult influences. It's telling me that you are having difficulty letting people in, letting people get close to you. You're not allowing people to help you right now, Sagittarius. And really, with the temptation to make rash or impulsive decisions here, with this encouragement not to act wild, you need to let other people in to help you and support you at this time, Sagittarius. Okay. This makes sense. You have the desert card. The desert card represents thirst. It means that you are thirsting for more. That makes sense, because when we're thirsty, we want our water now. Like, there is absolutely nothing that a really, really thirsty person who's been out in the desert won't do for a glass of water, which may lead them to act impulsively or wildly. So what this is telling me, Sagittarius, is there is definitely something that you are thirsting after. You're thirsting after change. With these pentacles coming up, it's most likely thirsting after change with regards to your financial situation, as well as your job or career situation. Like I said, the This Makes Sense card ties everything else together, and it certainly has done that. When you are thirsting for something, watch for that wild to come out. Unexpected insights. Oh my goodness. Did I not say watch for the the 9 of autumn? Look at this. Look at this. Look at that, Sagittarius. 3, 6, 9. I predicted that this 9 was going to be coming out, and you just have to trust, because I don't have a camera that can look at my work surface, but I had no idea that this card was here. That's why I'm so excited. Yes. Okay. Now it was in the middle here. So, okay. Coming in for your unexpected insights, despite your want and desire to act rashly and impulsively. You have the card that is the 7 of Summer. Your power comes from making a decision. Confusion arises when you have too many options. 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Autumn. Reward yourself for your hard work. 10 of Spring, also known as the 10 of Wands. Ooh. What did I say with this card, Sagittarius? Ask for help from others. Let your shields down. You're having difficulty in that category. I hope this will come into focus. Ask for help from others. Is this unexpected? no, this was unexpected, getting the 9 when I had predicted with the very first cards. Oh, I wonder if we'll get the 9. And there you go. All right. So for your unexpected insights and influences right now, Sagittarius, for April 15th through the 30th, watch that you're not presenting yourself with too many options with this 7 of Summer or 7 of Cups. Too many options. The saying that's coming up, too many cooks ruin the broth. So watch for that. 9 of Autumn coming up with your 3 and your 6 here. I want to point out that these are in progression, and they actually came out in 3, 6, 9. They actually came out in this order for you, Sagittarius. So this is showing a progression and a growth with regards to how you are handling your money and your job and your career. Reward yourself for your hard work. And the other card that you have here is, the other meaning of this card is for you to enjoy some alone time as well. And yeah, 10 of Spring, ask for help from others. General overall outcome, Sagittarius. Interesting. You have the Fighting card. What makes us feel like fighting? Well, if we follow through and make decisions that are rash and wild and impulsive, and that in some way really, really affects not only us, but our family members and so on, it can cause us to want to act angrily, lash out. But in reality, whose fault is it? It's our own faults. When we act rashly, we have to take responsibility for our actions, right? And when we take responsibility for our own actions, the fighting disappears. All right, the last card, very last card of your reading, Sagittarius, moving into May. You have the Thunderbolt. For those of you who have seen my readings before, you will know that this card corresponds to the Tower in the traditional tarot. What does the Tower mean? The Tower means that you are in for some really drastic changes. What this is telling me, Sagittarius, okay, Sagittarius, you may want to go back and watch the reading that I did for you for April 1st through April 15th. I went into a lot of details about free will, about timing for tarot and psychic readings, as well as information about changing the outcome. And I think it's really important, Sagittarius, that you pay attention to that right here, right now, because this is indicating that come end of April, you are headed for a Tower moment. Are Tower moments all bad? No, they're not. They are just sudden. They are uncomfortable. Okay. Can we avoid Tower moments? Well, typically, if a Tower moment comes up in someone's reading, it does mean that you're headed for a change. But what you do have control over here, Sagittarius, is the intensity of that change. So if you are following through on acting really, really impulsively, if you are acting out wildly this month, you will bring upon yourself a Tower moment, a quick, immediate, and drastic change to your life. Is this quick, immediate, drastic change to your life going to happen anyway? Yes, it is. Does it have to be quick, immediate, and drastic? No. How can you avoid this? By not acting impulsively. If somebody upsets you, step back, explore, breathe before you react. If somebody pisses you off, take a deep breath, step back, breathe, and come up with a way to handle the situation that is not impulsive, rash, or wild. And if you do that, you can avoid this outcome. Yes, your life is changing, Sagittarius. There's no two ways about it. It's the intensity with which you will experience this that you have the ability to change. And on that happy note, I'm going to leave off here, Sagittarius. So I hope that you will join me again at the beginning of May for your next reading and predictions. Thank you so much for being here.